The studio air of The View had a particular electricity that morning, the kind that buzzed before anything actually happened. Audience members shuffled in their seats, leaning forward with eager anticipation, because the producers had hyped up Blake Shelton's appearance all week. The country superstar wasn't just a fan favorite, he was the sort of guest who brought an easy charm, a grounded presence, and that slow southern humor that even New Yorkers couldn't resist. People expected fun, light banter, maybe a story about Gwen Stefani. The last thing anyone expected was tension. When Blake walked out, the applause was so loud it shook the cameras. He entered wearing jeans, a button down, and that effortless grin that made him seem like he belonged everywhere he went. He waved, winked, even pointed to a couple holding a sign that read, "Blake, we love you more than Brooklyn loves bagels." His laugh boomed, contagious and warm. He sat down at the table, settling comfortably between Joy and Whoopi while producers behind the cameras gave silent thumbs-ups. Joy Behar leaned in with the confidence of someone who had done this for decades. She smoothed her note cards, crossed one leg over the other, and, without waiting for a breath, launched into her opening jab. Well, if it isn't Mr. Country Boy himself," she remarked, her voice dripping with that familiar sarcastic edge. "Tell me, Blake, do you actually understand anything outside of beer, trucks, and whatever goes on in Oklahoma?" It was the kind of joke Joy had made 1,000 times, sharp, teasing, a little exaggerated. The studio audience laughed, but not fully. The laughter had tremors in it, like people weren't sure if Joy had gone a step too far this time. Even the co-hosts shifted slightly in their seats. Sunny looked down. Sarah raised her eyebrows. Whoopi inhaled slowly through her nose, already bracing herself. Blake's smile flickered, but he held his composure. He leaned back, resting one arm on the chair, letting Joy's words hang there. Finally, he answered with a tone lighter than air but pointed as a needle. "Well, Joy, I guess I understand enough to know a good joke when I hear one," he said. "Still waiting on yours, though." The audience exploded. Laughter, applause, whistles, like they'd been waiting for someone to say it. Joy blinked, thrown off balance for just a moment. Her mouth twitched into a smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Oh, you're feisty today," she said, wagging a finger at him as if she were trying to regain control of the moment. Blake leaned forward now, elbows on the table, his voice dropping just slightly into something more serious. "You came out swinging," he replied. "Thought I'd return the favor." The audience oohed loudly, loving the tension. They didn't yet realize it wasn't the fun kind. Joy smirked, trying to play it off as playful banter. "Let me guess, you think I'm just some out-of-touch New Yorker who doesn't understand your simple Southern ways?" Blake raised an eyebrow, slow and deliberate. "No," he said calmly. "I think you're someone who likes to poke people and then act shocked when they poke back." That line hit harder than the audience expected. A collective gasp rippled through the room. Sarah's hand shot to her mouth. Whoopi closed her eyes for a second, as if silently begging for divine intervention. Even the stage manager off to the side winced. Blake wasn't smiling anymore. Joy, sensing the shift, straightened in her seat. Her voice sharpened. "I'm just doing my job," she said, a touch defensive. Blake watched her carefully. "Then maybe your job needs a makeover," he said softly. "Or at least a steady dose of kindness." That word landed like a slap. Southerners knew how to use it, Northerners didn't always. Catch the sting until it was too late. The air tightened. Words like that didn't leave room for comedy. Joy laughed, a brittle, forced sound. "Oh, please, I've dealt with bigger egos than yours." Blake's expression didn't change. If anything, he softened, which somehow made it worse. "Joy, I don't mind jokes," he said. "But disrespect disguised as humor. That gets old." Joy stiffened. "What disrespect?" Blake's shrug was casual, controlled. "You invited me on your show just to stereotype me," he said. "And for what?" A cheap laugh. Someone in the audience clapped before stopping abruptly when they realized they were the only one. Joy shot a glare in their direction. "Relax," Joy snapped. It was a harmless joke. Blake didn't back down. Harmless to who? Because it sure doesn't feel harmless when someone's taking digs at you before you even finish saying hello. The tension was no longer subtle. The cameras caught everything, every twitch of Joy's eyebrow, every shift in Blake's jaw, every second of silence that stretched longer than any producer would have allowed on a normal day. "I've done a lot of interviews," Blake continued. "Never met anyone who works harder to make the guest uncomfortable than you." That line was the breaking point. Whoopi's lips parted as if she were about to intervene. Sunny looked away, uncomfortable. Sarah mouthed, "Oh no," under her breath. Backstage, the hallway pulsed with frantic energy. Producers rushed like they were trying to gather smoke with their bare hands, whispering updates, checking monitors, fumbling with headsets. Joy Behar barreled through them as if they weren't even there. Her heels struck the floor in sharp, angry clicks, each one echoing down the narrow corridor. She was breathing hard, not because she was out of breath, but because she was furious enough that her voice trembled even before she spoke. She ripped the microphone pack from her waistband with one sharp motion and shoved it into the hands of the nearest intern. The pack dangled awkwardly from their fingers, the cord swinging like a tail. Joy's face was flushed deep red, her jaw rigid, her eyes blazing with a storm that didn't seem close to calming. "I'm done," she snapped, her voice slicing through the hallway. "You hear me? Done." The intern stared at her, wide-eyed and motionless, like a deer standing in the middle of a freeway. A few nearby production assistants froze mid-step, unsure if they should keep moving or pretend to blend into the walls. A senior producer hurried over, clipboard in hand, trying to appear calm even though the veins in his forehead said otherwise. "Joy, come on," he said gently. "Let's just take a minute. It was a rough segment, but we can sort it out." Joy spun around so fast the producer flinched. "Sort it out," she repeated incredulously. "Sort it out. I just got dressed down by Blake Shelton on live television like I'm some intern asking for an autograph." Sarah and Sunny appeared at the end of the hallway, both moving carefully, like they were approaching a wild animal that might bite. Sarah offered a hesitant, hopeful smile. Sunny offered silence. She knew better than to speak too soon. "Joy," Sarah said softly, "he didn't mean to embarrass you." Joy cut her off like a blade. "Oh yes he did, and he enjoyed every second of it." A production assistant hurried past, whispering urgently into a headset. As they passed Joy, they muttered under their breath, "It's already trending." Joy heard it. She stopped walking. The hallway seemed to freeze with her. Her voice lowered, trembling at the edges. "Trending," she repeated bitterly. "Of course it is. Of course the internet is already making a joke out of me. Joy Behar gets roasted by Blake Shelton. Isn't that just perfect?" The executive producer arrived next, out of breath from practically sprinting from the control room. "Joy, we'll issue a statement," he said quickly. "We'll reframe it. Playful banter. A misunderstanding. We've done it before." Joy's laughter burst out suddenly, sharp and humorless. "Why is it always me?" she demanded. "Why am I always the one who has to take the hit? Why does every single moment magically become Joy Behar as the villain?" Sunny stepped forward cautiously. "Joy, that's not true," she said softly. "People love you. They respect you." Joy whipped around. "No, Sunny, they tolerate me, and online, they love to hate me. Big difference." The hallway grew quiet again. Camera operators peered through doorways, uncertain. Two makeup artists, caught in the middle of retouching another guest, paused mid-swipe to watch the scene unfold. Joy pushed open her dressing room door, but before she stepped inside, she turned back. She looked older in that moment, not weak, not defeated, just tired. The kind of tired that comes from a lifetime of trying to hold your ground while the world takes shots at your feet. "I have given this show 20-something years," she said, her voice steadier but heavy. 20 years of sitting at that table, getting yelled at, insulted, mocked, labeled, screamed at by politicians, celebrities, viewers, trolls. I've taken every hit. I've lost friends because of this job. I've lost sleep. I've lost patience. I've lost dignity." Her voice cracked on the last word, but she kept going. "And now today I'm the punchline again. And everyone's fine with that as long as the ratings are good and the clip goes viral." Behind them, Whoopi finally arrived, her steps quiet but purposeful. She reached the group and rested one hand on the dressing room doorframe. She watched Joy with an expression that blended concern with a frustrating awareness that nothing she said would fix this. Whoopi's voice was low, even. "Joy," she said, "don't make a decision when you're angry." Joy looked at her, really looked, and something in her expression softened, just for a moment. "I'm not angry, Whoopi," she said quietly. "I'm exhausted." The admission hung in the air like smoke. Not dramatic, not loud, just honest. "I'm tired of arguing. I'm tired of being everyone's punching bag. I'm tired of being the controversial co-host, or the difficult one, or the one who goes too far. I'm tired of being asked why I said what I said when everyone else gets away with murder. I'm tired of pretending it's all fun when half the time it feels like a battlefield. She took a deep breath, eyes glistening but refusing to cry. I'm tired of going viral for the wrong reasons. I'm tired of being a meme. I'm tired of thinking I've made a point only for the world to twist it into something ugly. I'm tired of defending myself. Sarah stepped forward with watery eyes. Joy, please. Joy shook her head. No, no more, please. No more, don't go. No more convincing myself that it'll be better tomorrow. She reached down, grabbed her bag from the chair inside the dressing room, and slung it over her shoulder. I'm quitting, she said. This time, nobody tried to interrupt. The executive producer rushed toward her anyway, panic in his voice. Joy, think about the contract, okay? Please, just think about it, we can renegotiate things.